Starting the class. The class would be about the chapter Print Culture and the Modern World. I'll start now. If everyone is there. Hello. Hello. Okay. Please like and subscribe my channel. This then we'll start. We'll do the first part of the chapter very detailed. Setting the camera. Saying the light content. Okay. Okay. It is okay. Now we'll start soon. Let's start. Okay. My head is to this. Let's start. What is the name of the chapter? Print culture and modern world. We'll start directly from the name of the chapter. It is the way of our understanding of the chapter. So, what is the name of the chapter? Print culture and modern world. First, let's see what is this. This is a book. This is our NCRT book. Okay, this is our NCRT book. Now this book is also printed. Now everything that you see all around us is printed. Now we have digital book also. We have digital book also, but everything that is here around us has something related to print. So there is also a history related to print culture. So why is it culture? As there is a culture related to the printing process. Wait. So there is a deep culture related to the printing process. So we are here to study the culture. What is the culture related to printing process? So first, see print culture and modern world. How print have in the development of modern world? We'll see in this chapter. Right? How print caused the development of modern world. We'll have to study this. How print is important in the development of the modern world. Okay, now print plays an important role in the life of everyone. Now we'll see that in the coming days we will be giving a board exam. Now the copy of the board exam or the question paper would be printed. Then after board exam we'll go to class 11, class 12, then we'll get books that would be printed. Now after that anyone can give JEE, NEET and other competitive exams, the books would be printed. Now print playing a very important role. Next, when they go to the college, later they would go to university, then they would get some jobs, and all the paperwork would be printed. So print is playing very important role in the life of a person who is born in the world. Now, if you go or dive directly to the chapter, the print itself has history. It has history. If we see that print itself has history. Now, what is history? First, what is history? History. You see, in the name of history, there is HI story. Means there is a story related to print culture. There is a story related to print. So we have to study the story of the print. There is a high order thinking skill story. We have to understand the story. What is the story related to print culture? So Let's start with the book. What is written in the book? Now, the most important part that I have seen in the introduction part is that line that uh, print from its beginning in East Asia to its expansion in Europe and in India. So from the text, we can easily understand what you can understand that print was first officially developed in which part of the world? In East Asia. Print was first developed in East Asia. Then print expanded to Europe. Then it also moved to India. Now, if we see that print was first in East Asia, then in Europe, then in India. Okay, understood? Then, so where print developed? Print developed in East Asia. Wait, I have some issue. Okay, print developed in East Asia, then moved to or expanded to Europe, then in India. Now, which countries are called as inventors of print or discoverers of print? East Asia, part of East Asia. If we see the globe, I'm bringing the globe. If you see the globe itself, this is the globe. Okay. Now you can see there is Asia. Asia. Okay. Now this eastern part of Asia contains these countries. I'm marking this. These countries are in the part of East Asia. Now which country is part of East Asia? We'll see that countries like China, then Japan, then Korea. Korea is Korea. Yes, Korea. Now, first print developed in East Asia, in whose places China, Japan, and Korea. Now, see that prints when first developed China, Japan, Korea, then it expanded to Europe, then came to India. Now, remember, in the last chapter, we have studied a name. Let's write the name. What is the name? Silk Road. If we have studied, please comment below. What was Silk Road? Which countries did it connect? Which continents did it connect? Let's remember. Now, Silk Road was a vibrant, pre-modern trade route. Means it was meant for trading purpose. So why is it only named silk? Does the path made with silk? No, because it is named as silk because silk, different silk textiles move from one part of the world to another, especially from China, India, etc. So China is a very important part of Silk Road. Now, this, as we told, this road not only connected different countries for the trade of silk, but the trade of different products like print, idea of print. Let's see. Uh, in China, idea of print was developed. Then it expanded to whole Europe. Now the idea traveled through this route named Silk Road. Okay, have you understood? You understood? Okay. Then we'll give very. We'll wait for few seconds. Please wait. Let's see if the live is properly going on. We have our live going on. First live for our channel. Just wait. It's our live. আস্তে 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 now let's start again. So her left, there are some background noises. I'm taking my microphone. I'll use this microphone. Let's see. Let's wait. There are some background noises. Please forgive me. I'm checking that. Is there the microphone working properly? There are some lags. Is there? Light connections are not good. Okay, disconnected. I'm checking. Is the mic working or not? Okay. Let me check. It's working properly. Hello. Hello. Yes, it is working properly. Yes. Now let's go into our topic again. So what was our topic? Let's start again. Now, after completing our introduction part, now I'll directly dive into the topic called the first printed books. The first printed books. Now, we'll connect Silk Road with now earliest kind of print technology. Earliest kind of or the first print was seen in China. Japan, Korea. Or we would say that the first print was there in China. Now, there was first print in China. Now, the print was not like the modern prints. Like we have several type of prints. I'll show you. You see, this is the type of prints that we do in our present days. But what the Chinese did was not the same. It was a different technique. It was hand printing technique. Hand printing. What was hand printing technique? Let's do a very interesting activity. Okay. Hand printing. Now, what they do, they take a paper. Okay, I'll sit and it is a very interesting thing. Wait. Getting it right there. Okay, see, this is our duster and this is the page, any page. Okay, now if we see the duster, there are some ridges or some, let's say, rise up parts, and there are some gaps. So, what the Chinese did, they took some wood, then carved letters on it. They carve letters on it, use hammer, chisel, curve letters on it. Then what they do? They uh, take the letter which was curved and smear it with paint or ink. Smear it with ink. Then they take the paper and the paper is then rubbed against the ink surface. The paper is rubbed against the ink surface. Then all the impressions on the wooden piece gets transferred to that paper. Okay, this was a done technique of printing done in China, which was known as hand printing technique. It was a very popular technique. It traveled to different parts of the world through what? Through this Silk Route. So why you have told about? So why I told about Silk Road? Understood that through this Silk Road, this technique named hand hand printing technique traveled. Now let's see another interesting thing. So, what was the problem about hand printing technique? Yes, there was problem. The problem is that at that point of time, no real paper like that we have now were used. They had some paper which was very thin, very thin. It was also porous. So, what was the problem that I'll show you. Hmm. First, we clear this page. Now see, two pages we have. Now consider it to be that page which was used by the Chinese to do hand printing. Now they have wooden block, they rubbed it against the page. Now impressions came on this side. But the problem was that the ink that was used spilled at the opposite side also. So there was a wastage of paper. So no one could do printing on both sides of the paper. Okay. Why? Because the paper was very thin and it was porous. So as it was porous, the ink spilled on the opposite side also. So there was a problem related to this technique. Now the Chinese in China it was very popular technique. Okay. In China it was very popular technique. Now I'll write something about this. Let's see. Yes, I got my duster. Now, this was hand printing technique. In hand printing technique, what was done? Paper, paper rub, paper was rubbed. Is it visible? Is it visible? See, paper was rubbed. Okay, not very important, but understand the concept of it. Okay, now both sides of the paper could not be used as an ink spill on the opposite side also. Why? Because the paper was very thin, very, and it was porous. So what was done in China? Now some accordion books were published. Okay. Now I'll also tell the concept of accordion book. That is why I told the pages. Okay. Now see what was done. I'll first show you the technique, then I will write some theories on the board. First, see, I'll show you the technique. You have two pages. Now, in this page, we have printed something in this side. Okay, so this side could not be used as ink spill on the opposite side also. Okay, this side was used, this side. Now, another page, this side was used, but this side could not be used as the ink spill. So, what the people of China do, you see, they took this side, they take this side, and they take this side. Then they stitch the unimportant sides. Now they stitch this, so we get this side which was written, and this side also, and they stitched it, and we get a book named Accordion that was famous in China. So if you understand the concept, please comment. Please comment there. Right, there. Or here. Anywhere. You can comment. Then comment and you can ask any query. If you have any problem, you can ask. Now, let's get into the theory back. Now, accordion book. Let's see accordion book. As the as the both side of the pages could not be used. So, what was done that two pages were taken and two pages were folded and stitched on the side. Two pages were folded, stitched on the side. Understood? Accordion book had two pages folded, stitched on the side. I am muting this for a while. Please, you can note all this. That accordion book had two pages, single side each. They are folded and stitched on the side. Now, and there are some skilled persons, skilled craftsmen named calligraphists who are very skilled. Calligraphists were very skilled who is were very skilled in duplicating the main print and create several copies. Now we can see that we have Xerox machines or printers. Now if we have a book, we have our history book. If we want some copies of 2 or 3 pages. What can I do? We go to the Xerox, then we have to Xerox it very easy. We have to cost at least rupees 2 per page. Okay, but at that point of time, what they did, they hired some. They hired some calligraphists. What the calligraphists did, what the calligraphists did, they, if you see, in this book, we have the first printed book written. They're very good, are very skilled in writing. They had very good handwriting. They used to write with very good handwriting. They used to copy in another page. If you see that it is visible, yes. You see that there is a page which are our actual document done using hand printing. Now, in another document, what they did, they uh, use their very good handwriting to copy. They would write the fast. And this is a very beautiful handwriting. Okay, you can say define the calligraphy, the art of beautiful and stylized writing. Means the writing would be very stylish. Okay, then now imperial state in China. What is imperial state or the monarchy? You see the royal society or royal part of China issue print several books. Means there are no local publications or other publications. There are some imperial state in China is to print. Okay, printed material. Now we can see there was a huge demand of printed materials in China. Why? In Chinese bureaucracy, in Chinese bureaucracy, what they did in Chinese bureaucracy, there are a lot of exams in which people have to give exams. They were then recruited in civil service examination in in the offices of the government. Now, for giving civil service examinations, they need books. So, how books would come? Books would come when printing would be flourished. But there was an increase in number of demands of those printing books because people need to give civil service examination to get recruited in Chinese bureaucracy. Okay. Now there was great demand of printed books, but the number of printed books was also less. Okay, we have to understand the condition that demand was more, but the production was less. So the production should be increased. Production should be increased. Now let's see what is next written on the book. That textbooks for this examination have to be printed. Now we'll see that imperial state played a very important role in China. They sponsored the production of the hand printing technology in China. The imperial state used to sponsor those books which were printed. Now, as in 16th century, people what we see there was an age of industrialization coming in 17th, 18th century. Now, people are coming to the cities. They need money to survive. So they wanted themselves to be recruited in the government posts. So they had to give civil service examinations. So for giving civil service examinations, they have to study. For studying, they want book. So the demand was very high, which causes the increase in the volume of print. Now, as demand was very high, so it would not be possible to uh, to provide hand printed books to large number of students at a faster rate. So there was a need of change. So a need of change creates an invention. Okay, a need of change creates an invention. which we will later see in another video about Gutenberg, how he made the first mechanical printer and published the Bible. Okay, now you see that by 17th century there was urban culture boomed in China. Means people were living normal life, ordinary life. Okay, then urban culture of so-called urban people. Okay, so-called urban people who sip tea, uh, then have fans, lights, well, men, good mansions. They live very good life. So urban culture boom means there was a rise of urban culture in China in 17th century. Now, what can I see that scholars were interested in print because they wrote books, then they read books. It was common reading books, writing books. You see, scholars, books were common. But not only scholars, the merchants also started printing some records of their business. So now large sections of society started this printing. Okay, and merchants used to uh, have the records of trade in these hand printed books, trade information. Now reading increased. How reading increased? Why reading increased? As the urban culture bloomed, there was urban culture. In urban culture, people read books, and it was seen that people in pubs, in clubs, etc., spend time in reading books. So it became very common among all the people about reading books. Now, people read different types of books, but mainly preferred fictional narratives, which are mainly fictional narratives. Then they used to study poetry and poems that we read nowadays also. Then there are autobiographies that if any of my student or any of my friend or any of you want to write about me, then it would be a biography. But if I write about myself, and this is 23rd of October, and I am teaching this chapter and this part. It was that incident of my life, and I'm writing all about this in a document and about myself. It would be autobiography. Auto means self, but a biography is that document written about some person by another person. Now people started reading autobiography of famous characters, then anthologies, etc. things. Now, women. Now, in the world, there are some patriarchal society, means male-dominated society. But we could see a great increase in the participation of women. Now, what is he that women of very rich homes started reading books. Then many of the wives of scholars started writing books also. They started reading books also. Yes, they spent time in reading books. So the demand of books is from there to there. So there was a need, there was a demand for a change in the system of printing. Okay, now there are increasing several works, literary works, such as courtesans. What are courtesans? Courtesans are persons who work in the court of the royal society. Now they also write about their lives because it became a culture of writing and printing. Okay. The next is reading culture was accompanied by new technology. Means reading culture was accompanied by technology. Means technological advancements was required for bringing a change in the reading culture. Now you see that several printing techniques were developed in the latter part of the world. There were some presses or the mechanical printing techniques which we will study in the latter part of the chapter. Now, Shanghai, Shanghai, okay, Shanghai, okay, that name Shanghai was an important place of China where printing used to be done at a very large scale. Now there was a gradual shift of hand printing to mechanical printing. Now, if we see what happened about the print in Japan, first we studied about China, then we will study about Japan. Japan is also a country of which part it would be Eastern Asia. Okay, let's start. Now, the hand printing technology was first developed in where it first developed in China. Then it traveled from China to Japan. How Buddhist missionaries, they are Buddhist missionaries traveled through Silk Road. In the last chapter we have studied that they carried several thoughts, several ideas, several knowledge, and also this printing technology from China to Japan. Means they carried this printing technology from China to Japan. Okay, it means that now hand printing technology was also introduced in Japan around 768, 770. Now the oldest Japanese book, remember the name. The oldest Japanese book was Diamond Sutra. Was the Diamond Sutra. Diamond Sutra was the oldest Japanese book. Now it contained six sheets. It contains some wood carvings. Yes. Let's remind you that wood carvings. What are wood carvings? I have given you an example of a duster and I have carved some holes in it about some letters. Then we have uh, smeared it with ink. Then we had pressed or rubbed it against the paper and letters were printed on the surface. So it was like that. Now, pictures were printed on textiles, playing cards, paper money. Now we see that in our money we have the image, the picture of Gandhiji. Similarly, in that period of time, uh, the pictures of renowned people are also printed on the paper money. Then several pictures were printed on textiles, clothes, the playing cards, etc. Now, people of Japan, there in Japan, several poets rose who started writing poetry, prose, etc., and started printing their books by the same technique. And it was cheap and it was abundant. People can easily get the books. Try to connect with digital documents like we have our mobile phones, then PDFs, then you study ebooks very easily. Like that at that period of time. Now, printing of visual material. It was very interesting publishing practices that was developed in late 18th century. Now, visual material. Let's say another thing. If you have seen a book, Honda this is a book. Now we see several writings, and in midst of this writing, we have and picture, then writing, then another picture. This is visual material, means pictures. Now the demand of these visual materials, and people are very much interested about these visual materials. People are very interested. Now the demand for visual materials were flourished, means it was very famous among the urban circles. Urban circles means people living in cities, so-called people of urban who used to read books leisurely, which entertain them. Now, collection of printing beauty. In this printing technique, what was there that it depicted different things. That some sort of tea parties. Then there are books on women, musical instruments, calculations, etc. things. Now, you see, you remember the old name of Tokyo. What is the old name of Tokyo? Tokyo. Let's see. What is the old name of Tokyo? It is Edo. Old name of Tokyo was Edo. Now, yes, Shanghai was famous in China for publishing several printed books, and Edo or Tokyo was also very famous in Japan about printing or publishing books. Okay, now I'll tell you the last part of this video, last part of the first section of this chapter is a very important thing in one box. That printing of visual image. Okay, printing of visual image. Let's see. I'm teaching now this box. Okay. Now see a famous personality. We'll see the name of very famous personality in Japan named Kitagawa Otamaru. Kitagawa Otamaru. He developed these visual materials. Now his contribution in this art form is ukiyo. He gave pictures of floating world. Means he made pictures. In these pictures, he had depicted the real world in a different perspective. So he used, there is a name of his art culture is floating world. Floating world. Okay. Now, how these visual materials were printed on books. Let's see a very interesting thing. I think that every one of you would be very entertained or very would get very interested about learning about this thing. Then you would also try doing this, but be safe. Let's see, we get an image. You see, this picture is there in NCERT book. Now we want to print this picture in a book. Name this in this page. What we will do now? We'll go at present day. We go to printer. We print this. And that is done. But we want to do a different thing. How would people of earlier days used to print such visual images? They used to cut this picture, okay? Cut this picture and they paste it in a wooden block, okay? There is a wooden block. Yes, it is wooden block. They would take the image, cut it, paste in this wooden block. The actual image is taken. Now the wooden block, the outlines of the picture is be carved using a hammer and a chisel. Means the impressions of the image get stuck in the wooden block. Now the image gets destroyed. The real image gets destroyed. But after it, the image is carved on this wooden surface, then ink is smeared in it, then paper is rubbed against it, and the image get printed on that paper. In this technique, there was a problem with the real image. The real picture gets destroyed, but we get several new prints of the original drawing. Why original drawing gets destroyed? Because when we paste it on that wooden block and we hammer it with using a chisel, then the real image gets teared and it gets destroyed. In this way, we end up our first part. Okay, please like and subscribe my channel for new videos. Bilas boy and comment if you have any query about this part. Okay, thanks.